Good afternoon, OUAZ. My name is Alicia Engel, and I'm the Manager of Career Services. And I'm so happy to be here to share some information with you today. First of all, know this. My dream for you and the dream of everyone else here is that you will land well after graduation. We're here to help you do that. Our job is to create as many opportunities as possible for you to explore different career paths, and this Friday is a great one. Join us in the Union on the second floor between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., where we have 30 plus employers who have come to campus saying they want to meet you. How many of you are looking for part-time jobs? Okay. How many of you are looking for full-time jobs? How many of you are looking for professional internships to gain additional experience? Excellent. Everyone who raised their hand, you should come to the job fair where you can meet an employer and have a great conversation. Employers themselves are so excited to welcome you that they will have giveaways at their booths. I've even heard there could be some free food. And also at Daway, we'll be offering a free door prize. Everyone who attends is eligible to win, and it's a fan shop gift card. Also, a very special event. From noon to 1 that same day, we'll be offering students the opportunity to have free headshots taken. Again, that's from noon to 1 on the second floor of the Union. Have a free headshot taken. It would be a professional image for your LinkedIn profile, your OUAZ profile, or any other social media channel that you would be using. Let's learn your first career fair professional skill. Volunteers. All right. Here's how you do it. You're going to turn to your neighbor. You're going to look them in the eye. You're going to smile. You're going to grab their hand firmly, but don't prove a point. Firmly, pump twice and drop. While you're doing that, you're going to say something like, "Hi, my name's Alicia. It's great to meet you." So let's put all of that together. Once again, you're going to look at your neighbor, smile, "Hi, my name's Alicia. It's great to meet you."
My name's Desiree. It's great to meet you.
Excellent. Thank you, volunteers. Now it's your turn. I want every single one of you in the audience to turn to at least 2 of your neighbors. I want you to look them in the eye, smile, extend your right hand, grip it firmly but not too tight, and while you're pumping twice, simply say, "Good afternoon. My name is blank, and it's great to meet you." And then you can drop. All right, let's have everybody do that now. It's okay, come on. Go ahead and do it. Excellent. You've just learned your first professional career fair skill. Speaking of Handshake, Handshake is also the name of a web application that connects students with employers all over the country. These are employers who are specifically looking for college students to come and join their businesses and launch their careers. You're going to hear a lot about Handshake over the course of this year. Handshake lets employers recruit at specific universities like OUAZ. That's why it's considered the #1 way that college students find jobs. Companies such as those you see on the screen of all sizes and all over the nation use Handshake to find college students like you. Get noticed, get connected, get hired. Start building your future this Friday. Join us at the career fair. Questions? Contact me at the email address on your screen. See you there.
Good morning, OUAZ. How are we doing today? Good, good. Hey, let's open this up in prayer. Lord, thanks. Thank you for your love for us. Thank you that we are going to see a victory because you have already won that battle for us. Thank you for today, a day where we can pause even though there's a lot of stuff going on, finishing up our schoolwork for Fall 1, midterms and finals next week. It's sports. It's just a busy week, Lord. I just pray that you would continue to guide us and to help us get the things done we need to get done and do them well so that we are honoring you. Thank you for today and the time where we can just have a moment to tell you how great you are. In your name, amen. Couple things real quick. There is no Spirit Life next week. I love that. I love that. I love that. No Spirit Life next week, but we will continue the week after, October 19th. We'll have Russ Smith here from City Church. So he will be our speaker on the 19th. So next week you have off. There are finals and things like that. There is a specific event, and you'll hear more about this just in a minute on OUAZ TV, but there is a t-shirt give out, and I don't know if you've seen this secret t-shirt piece or not, but it is the Orange Crush edition t-shirt. So Be listening to the announcements on how you can get that t-shirt on OUAZ TV. Finals next week. Make sure we get prepared. Make sure we get ready. And we are looking forward to fall 2. And in fall 2, we're going to have a couple of small groups that we'll be telling you about and another worship night at the end of the month. So looking forward to all of that. And let's roll with OUAZ TV.
Good morning. Today is October 5th, 2022. Our Spirit Life guest is Brad Ogden from CCV. I'm Des.
And I'm Chris.
This is OUAZ TV. OUAZ Theater's production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown has 4 shows, November 10th and 11th at 7 p.m., November 12th at 1 and 7 p.m. See website or TV screens and Founders, soon to be Eichner's Hall.
School trips. There is a trip to Australia. Go to see Sydney, Kangaroo Island, the Outback, the Great Barrier Reef, and Cairns. There is a meeting tomorrow in the Student Union at noon in room 210. If you have any questions, you can email Lynn Wagner at ottawa.edu for more information.
Big Day Saturday! Get your free t-shirt by going to the renaming of Founders to Eichner Hall at 4 p.m. Immediately after, there's going to be a groundbreaking ceremony for the new residence hall. Then, Orange Crush floats in the Union, and the game is going to be at 7 p.m. Parking
news. The parking spots between Founders Hall and the new residence hall construction will be closed as of Thursday for groundbreaking. When the lot reopens, please do not park in the spots marked for future Grey Wolf parking. Any cars parked in these spots without a visitor pass will be towed.
Mind, body, and soul. Today in the Union after Spirit Life at noon, build your own care package. Tomorrow from 5 to 7 in Scholars, learn about crystals. Friday, 10 to 2 in the Union is a free massage.
Community activities. Major League Baseball Fall Ball is happening now. There will be many games in the Surprise Stadium right down the street through the month of October. Students and staff will get 20% off for their tickets when they use the code Ottawa22. On Wednesday, October 19th, our very own President Dr. Tyner will be throwing out the first pitch.
Yay. Sports. Saturday, football versus Texas College, 7 p.m., Orange Crush Night. Sunday, cross-country meet at Requero in Coolidge, if you want to make the trip.
Hey, Des, nice shirt.
Thanks, Chris. I like your shirt, too.
Cheers. They are new releases. If you'd like one, stop by the Fan Shop today.
Fang Shop.
Fan?
Fang.
Well, thanks for watching. Enjoy Spirit Life and
have a fantastic day. He's Chris.
She's Des.
We're OUAZ TV.
Today you guys are in for a treat. Our guest, I listened to his sermon last week about when you're running on empty. And it was really powerful and really encouraging to hear that sermon at the time and place that I was at. Just like kind of right now, I'm getting a lot of prayer requests, either people stopping by my office or through the email that, hey, would you please pray for me? I got finals coming up. So we really believe in the power of prayer once we get to those types of situations. So today our guest is Brad Ogden. He's the pastor at Christ Church of the Valley. I know some of you guys attend there here on the Surprise campus. He's been there a little bit over a year. And fun fact, he's a triathlete. So would you give a warm welcome, OUAZ welcome, to Brad Ogden.
Hey, thank you. Is this on? Hey, thank you guys so much for having me here. It's just seriously a privilege just to come and hang with you guys for a little bit. And like Alan mentioned, I have done a bunch of triathlons. Anybody in here have done a triathlon before? Nobody. Does anybody know what they are? Yeah? All right, it's simple, right? You swim first, and then you bike, and then you go for a run. And I know right now a little bit of a dad bod, so I haven't really done that many in the last couple of years. But honestly, for the last 15 years, I've done about 10 or 12 different triathlons. And some of them are what we would call sprint triathlons, pretty small, honestly. I think anybody, there we go, if anybody can really like be comfortable in water and not be afraid of it, we could all probably grind out a triathlon, the sprint level, okay? But then you get a little bit more and you go into the Olympic, which is a little bit longer distance. You actually have to train pretty well for it. And then I got suckered into doing some half Ironmans, which again is a pretty strict training program. I have it on my bucket list to do a full Ironman, but not yet. What's crazy to me, what's kind of funny, like, hey, try these triathlons, and they were the sprint ones, and I loved it. Honestly, fell in love with the training. I think because it was a variety of training. It wasn't just like do one thing all the time over and over and over again. But what got me into that was I was running my second half marathon, and I hated every second of it. Hated every mile, hated every training run, hated the race itself, and so it spurred me into trying these triathlons, and I fell in love with it. But even this coming weekend is the World Championship Ironman taking place in Hawaii. And that's a full Ironman. I have a couple of friends that I trained with that are participating in it this weekend. But what's really cool about this is that there are athletes from all over the world, all different backgrounds, all different reasonings, all different ages, participating in this one race. And it's a grueling race. Like I said, I've never done it yet, but from even watching people do it, and I've volunteered at some of them, it is grueling. You're swimming 2.4 miles, and then when you're done that, you hop on a bike and you ride 112 miles after that. And if that's not enough, once you're done with that, you go for a full marathon run, 26.2 miles. It's crazy. To even watch people do that. But when I think about that race, there is something, when I think about any triathlete, there's one character trait that I think is critical for anybody to complete a race. And as I think about that, I actually think it's something that every single one of us need to accomplish anything significant in our lives. And I think it's probably pretty safe to say that every one of us in this room want to accomplish something significant with our lives. But there's no way that any triathlete, any athlete like many of you guys are, any leaders, really any person that wants to accomplish something significant, there's no way they can do it without this one characteristic, and that's grit. Grit. It's something that I want to just spend a little bit of time with you talking about, and really we'll just start here. The great philosopher Rocky Balboa. Does anybody know? Or am I just too old? Rocky movies, right? He said it perfectly. This is his quote. "Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done." So when we talk about grit, we talk about it being the strength to get up after you've been hit and knocked back down. And I know in a room like this with this many people, we've all been knocked down before. And some of you guys are knocked down right now, wondering like, hey, whatever it is you're dealing with, can I get up? Can I get through this situation? It could be like, hey, you broke up with your girlfriend or boyfriend and your world's falling apart. It could be, hey, I'm struggling with my grades and my classes, and it might even affect my position, or it might even affect my role on the team I have. Some of you guys are trying to bust into a team as a freshman, and you're like, I just need to earn my spot, and it's not going how I thought it would go. I mean, even after a couple months in school, you're like, hey, can I even live with my roommate for the rest of this year? That might have to display some grit. But whatever it is, we all have situations where grit is needed. You know, academic research even says the same thing. There is a girl, a lady named Angela Duckworth, and she's really given her whole life to research the topic of grit. She's wrote a great book, and it's called Grit. But this is what her research found. It's a summary of the book, really. The number one determination of success in your life and mine is not your upbringing, it's not your IQ, your talent, or even your EQ. She argues that through her scientific research, the number one determination of success is somebody's level of grit. And I think that that's probably safe to say you guys all would seem to agree with that. You know people that have incredible talent, incredible strengths, incredible skills, and yet they don't accomplish much in life because when adversity strikes, they kind of crumble. They don't use the strengths and the talents and the giftings they have. They kind of give up when life gets hard. And so while we see examples of grit all over the place, we see professional athletes that get hurt and they rebound from an injury and come back better than they ever have. You probably have friends and family members that have shown grit. They've beat cancer or other diagnosis in their lives. They've come through the other side of it, and it's inspiring. But I think the best examples of grit is actually found in the Bible. Now hang with me, because you may not even believe the Bible. You may not even have a relationship with Jesus. But if you take some time and look, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, you can find some incredible examples and stories of people with faith that showed tremendous grit in their life to overcome all kinds of different situations. You know, there's a whole chapter in Hebrews chapter 11. It talks about heroes of the faith. Story, name after name after name after name. And if you go into the Bible and look up those names and look at those stories, you'll see grit over and over and over again. The Bible is actually, I think, believe that God is the author of grit based off of these people and how they live their life for him. So really, it's no surprising to me that we have this chapter of, like, they call it kind of the Hall of Faith, right? There's all these people, and then the very next chapter in Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1 says this: therefore, talking about all the previous people, all these heroes of the faith, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. You see, perseverance is just another word for grit. We're told 32 times in the whole New Testament that we need this exact word. It might just be translated a little bit differently. You hear it in such ways as perseverance, endurance, to stand. You know, and the more that we think about grit, the more we realize that we need it in our lives. You know, because if we go back to triathlons just for a second, and I'll talk a little bit about my experience with the half Ironmans. I've done 3 of them. I was not trying to compete or win. I was just trying to finish. Like, let's be honest with those. But you have this training plan to start. Like, you have, you know, for me, it was like a 24-week training plan, and it lays out everything. This is what you need to do for your run. This is what you need to do for your swim, your bike, your nutrition, all the things. Like, it gives you the exact plan to be able to accomplish the goal of finishing this race. And so what do? You go out. I have 24 weeks. I'm like trying to hit and crush every workout to make sure that I'm ready to execute on this race day. But I wish I could tell you that race day goes perfectly. I wish I could tell you that I was fully prepared for everything that happened, each one of those races. Because there are always variables that are thrown in to your perfect plan that you cannot control. For example, the first half Ironman I did was in Benton Harbor, Michigan. I was living in Indianapolis at the time, and we're swimming on Lake Michigan. And so, you know, I trained in a pool the whole time. I go up to Lake Michigan. I did some open water swims to try to get ready to, like, what is it like to not have lane lines down the front and guiding you every way. But I could not train for Lake Michigan because I didn't know this until I got up there. But 3 out of the last 4 years, the swim was actually canceled because of the swells in Lake Michigan were so bad.
Thankfully, this year it was not canceled, but I'm telling you, I had to try to swim. I was nervous. I was like trying to figure out how to do this, and the swells are just huge, and you're just rolling in the water, and man, I'm just trying to figure out which way to go and how to finish this. But you had to grind it out. You had to show grit and tough through that. The second half Ironman had another variable, completely different. Okay, I was like, all right, I have some open water swims. I'm good now. This race was in a town called Muskoka, and it was north of Toronto, which is where my wife is from. And so I went up to do this half Ironman there, and the day before the race, I have to check in, and I was like, Sarah, let's go and just drive the bike course, just to visually, mentally prepare for what you're about to go through. Upon checking in, I found out that this race had a nickname, and it was called Beauty and the Beast. I mean, this place was stunning. You're in like cottage country and the rolling hills and trees, and it was just really, really beautiful. The beast part, though, was the hills. Like for 56 miles, I thought on a bicycle, I was riding uphill the whole way. And so by the time I was done that bike part of the race, my legs were shot. And I barely finished because I could not train. I was living in Indianapolis where it's flat as ever. And so it was a variable, something thrown at me that I had to learn how to grind through and overcome. The third one, something kind of similar, was in Muncie, Indiana. Again, I was training in Indianapolis. It was in the middle of summer. There it was like 95, but like 90% humidity. And, I trained in that temperature and that climate, so it was no big deal. However, I crushed the swim, I crushed the bike. When I was about to start doing the half marathon, both calves just cramped and seized right up. And I couldn't. Doesn't matter how much salt tablets. By that time, you're already dehydrated enough that I couldn't recover. And I ended up walking the whole 13.1 miles just to complete. But I grinded it out. So no matter what training we all have, no matter what we do, there are always variables thrown at us. And if we're able to overcome them, we can develop grit. I know that this is probably true for some of your stories to even just try to get here to OUAZ. It wasn't as smooth as you thought it'd be. Maybe this isn't even where you wanted to end up, but you're here now. And so your journey does not always go exactly how you're wanting it to. So if you're right now resonating with a little bit of like, man, yeah, grit's important. I can see that. I can understand the variables that get thrown at me. I know some, and I'm trying to figure out how to develop grit in your life. I just want to share a couple things with you when it comes to grit. And the first is this: if I want to learn something, if I want to try to master a skill or master a character trait or develop something in my leadership, I want to hang out with people who do that really, really well, right? I want to learn from the best. And the best example I can give you of grit is Jesus. Honestly, like when you think of Jesus' life, there's nobody that's been here on earth that has gone through more pain, physical, emotional, spiritual pain. If you want to learn, like nobody has gone through it more than him. Do you want to follow him? I mean, his whole purpose on life was not to be easy and comfortable. His whole purpose on life was to come and be crucified on the cross. I mean, that took grit. I mean, even the day before, he was crying out to God saying like, gosh, this is going to be a tough journey. If there's any way not to do this, take it from me. He was pleading with God because he knew the journey was not going to be easy. And God could have done that. He could have swooped in and saved the day and said, yeah, don't worry about it. I don't need you to die on the cross. But he didn't do that. He said, no, like Jesus, you need grit to be able to accomplish what he was on this very earth to do. And it's a reminder of me. I read Hebrews 12:1, and I want to read it again, but from a different translation called the Message translation. And I love the wording of this for this verse. It says this: keep your eyes on Jesus, who both began and finished this race we're in. Study how he did it. Again, let's learn from the best, right? Before, he never lost sight of where he was headed, that exhilarating finish in and with God. He could put up with anything along the way, cross, shame, whatever. And now he's there in the place of honor, right alongside God. So when you find yourself flagging in your faith, go over that story again, item by item, that long litany of hostility he plowed through. That will shoot adrenaline into your souls. So if you're here and you're like, hey, I want some grit, I want to learn from Jesus, how does that even happen? You know, we have a God that is so generous, that gives us everything when we ask for it in his name. Romans 15:5 reminds me of that, and it says, may the God who gives endurance and encouragement give you the same attitude of mind towards each other as Christ Jesus had. May God who gives endurance, same exact word, perseverance, to stand. I mean, you could read it this way, like the God who gives grit. So for you guys that are in that journey right now where you're struggling, you're like, man, I don't even know how to get out of this. Whatever the circumstance is, I don't know if I can push all the way through this. I don't know how to push through this. Reach out to a God who is generous and wants to give you that strength and that endurance to keep pushing forward. The second thing when it comes to developing grit in our lives that I think we all need is other gritty people around you. You need other people. I mean, life is too hard. Variables are thrown at you left, right, and center. Like, you need people in your life with the same desire to be gritty and to push through all the hard things that are thrown at you for whatever reason. You know, if you're like me, there's some of you in here, you're not from this country, never mind this city, right? Like, I'm from Canada, my wife's from Canada, that's where all our families are. We know that we need a community of people in our lives around us to help us just win at life, right? You guys may be in that same boat. You're not from here. You need people in your life, whether that's your teammates, whether that's your classmates, whether that's your roommates. You know, hopefully you're plugging into a local church here in the community of Surprise. But we all need people. And if you want to develop grit in your life, you need other people that will be gritty with you and help you push through the pain that you have in your life or the challenges that you have, but you need people in your corner. You see, the reality is that you can go further faster with other people. It's easier to do hard things with others. That's just a fact. I mean, I'll go back to the bike part of the triathlon for me. You know, I again, was looking to cross the finish line first. I was just trying to finish, honestly, with all these races. But when I would train by myself for the bike portion, I don't remember exactly. I think the fastest average on a half Ironman that I did was like 18.5 miles per hour or something for 56 miles. But last year, I did a fundraiser. It was called Bikes Fight Poverty, and we were going to ride 200 miles in 2 days, so 100 miles each day. But we were training with a group of people. I was training with 9 other guys, and we would train all the time. We'd ride together. We would what they call draft off each other, so you're behind each other, and one person's pulling the load, and then you come back, and you go forward, and you work together as a team. And drafting is actually illegal in triathlons. You'll get penalized for it because you can go further faster. So even though on the half, my best time was like 18.5 on the average for 56 miles, when I worked with a team of people last year, we did 100 miles and our average was like 20.5 miles an hour. And so it's drastically different. You can do hard things with other people. You know, I think it reduces technically like your effort by 30% when you work as a team. And so as I kind of wrap up, if grit is important, we've kind of proven a little bit like, yeah, even academically, it's proven that gritty people will accomplish more than people that don't have that characteristic. I guess my question to you is, how gritty are you? Like, what do you need in your life, or who do you need in your life to help you accomplish the things? Because the more that we can practice and have a game plan and be prepared for everything that we know of, there's always going to be variables. There's always going to be grit that's required for you to accomplish significant things. It was a few weeks ago, I saw this video on Twitter, and I want to show it to you. It's only like 2.5 minutes long, but it's actually from the head women's basketball coach from Duke University, and she talks a little bit about grit, not in those words, but I want you just to watch this.
I was talking with Shay a couple days ago, and one of the things we talked about was how we all wait in life for things to get easier. Think in your own life, if you've waited for something to get easier. Oh, I just got to get through this and then it'll be easy. I just got to get through preseason and then it'll be okay. I've just got to get through my junior year of high school and then the classes are going to get easier. Or I've just got to get to my spring of my senior year of college and it's going to be easier. It's what we do. We wait for stuff to get easier. It will never get easier. What happens is you handle hard better. That's what happens. Most people think that it's going to get easier. Life is going to get easier. Basketball is going to get easier. School's going to get easier. It never gets easier. What happens is you become someone that handles hard stuff better. So that's a mental shift that has to occur in each of your brains. It has to. Because if you go around waiting for stuff to get easier in life, it's never going to happen. And then what happens? Oh, it's so hard. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I don't know when is it going to be easy for me? Oh, it's easy for other people. It's not. It's hard. And the second we see you handling stuff, handling hard better, what are we going to do? We're going to make it harder. We're going to make it harder. Because we're preparing for you for when you leave here. Not just basketball and life. And if you think life, when you leave college, is going to be all of a sudden get easy because you graduated and you got a Duke degree, it's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder. So make yourself a person that handles hard well. Not someone that's waiting for the easy. Because if you have a meaningful pursuit in life, it will never be easy. If you're trying to win a championship, if you're trying to have a family, ask your parents. Do you think it was ever easy for them to raise kids? Karen, is it easy? It's not. Any meaningful pursuit in life, if you want to be successful at it, it goes to the people that handle hard well. Those are the people that get the stuff they want. People that wait around for easy, you probably see them at the bus stop. They're waiting for the easy bus to come around. Easy bus never comes around. You've got to handle hard. Okay, so don't get discouraged through this time if it's hard. Don't get discouraged. It's supposed to be. And don't wait for it to be, I just got to get through the summer. And then it'll all of a sudden get easy in the fall. No, it won't. It won't. It won't get easy in the fall. So make yourself someone that handles hard well. And then whatever comes at you, you're going to be great. You're going to be great, okay?
Yeah, I tell you, she sums it up so succinctly, and I think that's what I want to leave you guys with. Let's be somebody who has grit. Let's be somebody who handles hard better. No better person than Jesus. And he says this in Luke 21:19. He says, stand firm and you will win at life. Like basically what he's saying is like, have grit. Learn from me, Jesus talking. Like learn from me. Get other gritty people around you and you will win at life. Let me pray. God, I thank you so much for who you are. I thank you that you are unchanging, that you are the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, that we can rely on you because you are faithful. We thank you so much for that. I thank you that your son Jesus is the ultimate example of grit, that we can learn from his ways when he could have had all the power in heaven to make his road easy, and he chose not to. He chose to go through the worst thing possible in life, and that took grit. So I thank you for his example. Give us the strength to look to him for our perfect example so that we can follow. And God, I pray for the people in this room right now that they will link arms with other people in their circles, that they will surround themselves with gritty people, people that will pick them up, dust them off, and tell them to keep going, people that might empathize with them, people that will come and cheer them on for whatever it is they're facing. We thank you for your son, Jesus. We thank you for our community and our people in our lives. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Yeah, let's give him a hand. That was great. Just curious, how many people in here during Fall 1, something happened that was unexpected in your life? Something happened during Fall 1 that you didn't expect, or was a roadblock in your life? Yeah, there were a few. There were a few probably in your life. How gritty are you? Who do you surround yourself with? Do you look to Jesus as that example? I think that's perfect advice. Again, No Spirit Life next week. If you need to talk to somebody, Brad will stay around for a little bit. I think he's going to eat lunch with us too. There's other people to talk to if you need to do that, and you are dismissed. Thank you.